It's almost time for the part 2 season of this story to start, so this week on the off-season videos, we're going to recap Power Rangers Dino Charge. There were 18 different things wrong with that take. Hey Rangers! Welcome to what is definitively, definably, 100% absolutely the last Power Rangers off-season 2016 video. Whenever my next video comes out, it's going to be a review of the first episode of Dino Supercharge. But first, don't we have some catching up to do? Cast your minds back with me to just over 1 year ago. We, as Ranger fans, were coming off the severe disappointment that was Super Megaforce, but we did have reasons to be optimistic. Chip Lynn was returning to the show, and while some of us were sad to hear about the bypassing of Tokimei Sentai Go Busters, nobody could really be angry about the return of the dinosaurs brought about by Juden Sentai Kyoryuger. Of course, the year since then has proved that Dino Charge is an amazingly well-written story with excellent characters and exciting footage. It is almost time for the part 2 season of that story to begin, so we end the off-season videos with a recap of Power Rangers Dino Charge. I'm going to start things off with a quick recap of the story. Dino Charge begins 65 million years ago, with a bounty keeper named Sledge chasing an alien named Keeper through space. Keeper is the keeper of the Energems, 10 multicolored crystals containing great power. Sledge's fiancée Poisandra lands a shot on Keeper's ship, forcing him to crash land on Earth. Sledge sends down Fury, his Lion Knight henchman, to retrieve the Energems. However, Keeper tricks Fury, pretending to have died in the crash and leaving the Energem case ripe for the taking. But of course, the case wasn't the Energems, but instead a bomb. Sledge's ship is damaged, losing control and flying off into deep space. Fury falls into an escape pod and ends up back on Earth, and the damage looses Sledge's collection of asteroids, which crash into the Earth and cause the extinction of the dinosaurs. But not before Keeper found some friends to help with the guarding of the Energems. Those same dinosaurs. Keeper bonded the Energems to 10 dinosaurs for safekeeping. Then, while fighting Fury, the extinction event took place, with both of them seemingly destroyed. In present day, we meet Tyler, an adventurous young man looking for his missing father. Searching a cave near the Amber Beach Dinosaur Museum, Tyler finds the red Energem in a T-Rex fossil. Meanwhile, a determined and high-strung girl named Shelby pesters her boss, Miss Kendall Morgan, and museum co-workers Coda and Chase to go on a dig with them, finally just deciding to sneak along. At the dig site, she finds the pink Energem as well as a monster looking for it. Tyler swings in, literally, to help, and the two rather accidentally morph into Power Rangers. After a large T-Rex Zord bats the monster away, the two decide to travel to the museum, running into Riley, a young man who found the green Energem while protecting his dog from Fury, who somehow managed to survive. Arriving at the museum, they're informed by Kendall, Keeper, Coda, and Chase, who I guess also should have had a name that started with a K, that they are now Power Rangers, charged with defending the Energems they have, as well as finding the other missing ones. The monster that they fought, Ice Age, heralds the return of Sledge to Earth. A little later, the Rangers would add the Ankylozord to their arsenal, though it being active remains a bit of a mystery to this point in the show, because the Aqua Ranger has yet to appear. Later on, Fury would find and briefly take control of the Terrazord by stealing equipment from the Rangers. Shortly after the Rangers are able to take back the Terrazord, they discover that the energy that had been seen trying to escape from Fury's chest was in fact Ivan, a brave knight from the country of Xandar who bonded with the Gold Energem in the Middle Ages before being absorbed by Fury. Now escaped, Ivan can use the Gold Energem and becomes the Gold Ranger. Shortly after Chase masters the use of the orange Dino Armor X Charger, Prince Philip, who the Rangers had befriended earlier, finds the Graphite Energem. Philip has to learn that you can't buy the respect of an Energem, but after bravely saving Chase's sister Chloe at the risk of his own life, the Energem bonds to him and he becomes the Graphite Ranger. For the first time, the Power Rangers actually traveled to the country that the show is filmed in, as reports of Sledge searching for something sends the Rangers to New Zealand. They quickly find what Sledge was looking for, and it's the Purple Ranger. An older man named Albert found the purple energem on a mountain while saving a young girl, thus bonding with it and becoming something of a local hero. Between his fear of space monsters and his inability to leave New Zealand, Albert realizes that he cannot be the Purple Ranger, and Keeper unbonds him from the Energem. The Rangers rescue the Plesiozord and then return home. A search for a candidate for the Purple Ranger doesn't turn up anything, though they do run into an interesting candidate named Heckle. They end up losing the Purple Energem to Sledge. Kendall infiltrates Sledge's ship in an effort to save Keeper, finding the Energem and becoming the Purple Ranger while fighting off Sledge's guards. Sledge ends up destroying his ship's navigation system while trying to kill Tyler, and his ship crashes into Earth, supposedly killing the entire crew. But not Heckle, who we'd actually seen earlier was one of Sledge's bounties, but much more powerful. Kept in solitary confinement and being bold enough to bargain with Sledge as equal partners. Heckle survived the crash, and from what we see peeking out of his cell, there's more to him than meets the eye. Alright, now let's take a look at the characters. I'll start with Tyler, the Red Ranger. Tyler is brave, adventurous, strong, and rather optimistic about life. And you might recall me saying during the reviews that we got more backstory on Tyler in one episode than we did on Troy in 40. Tyler's dad disappeared a few years ago, and Tyler has been searching for him ever since, with nothing more to go on than his father's journal. Tyler's optimism and determination make him a good leader for this team. He's just a very likable character, never really too headstrong, and usually making the right decisions, though there were a few exceptions. Coda, the Blue Ranger, is a caveman that found his Energem in prehistoric times in a cave while saving his brother from a CGI saber-toothed tiger. Most of Coda's shtick is about how he has trouble adjusting to modern times, though he does have moments of great bravery. We really didn't get a lot on Coda this season. He loves to eat, he doesn't get modern things, and he's brave. I'm really hoping we get more from him this season. Chase is the Black Ranger and the classic lady killer. Chase also received his Energem before the events of the first episode, though obviously more recently than Coda's. He rescued the cat of a New Zealand Matakite, who gave him the Energem as one of the trinkets from her shop. Chase gains some depth as the show goes on, as we see him learn about the responsibility of being a ranger, and even experience regret when some of his personality flaws hurt some people around him. Of all the Rangers, Chase really feels like this team's second in command. Riley, we didn't really get very much of. He's obviously the team's brain, as seen in one episode where he literally has beautiful mind-type math visions that do help him save his friends. He does seem to have a building friendship with Chase that kind of develops from an opposites-attract situation. He seems to have a desire to prove himself, being, I think, the youngest on the team. He comes up with a lot of plans and works very well with the equally intelligent Kendall, seeming to also clash with Chase's desire to get out there and beat up the bad guys a lot of the time. But, like I said, we really didn't get much on Riley. We don't know a heck of a lot about him, and he's another one that I'm hoping to see more from. And that brings us to Shelby, who for 21 and a half episodes can be described as the girl. Shelby is kind of a mixed bag for me. She's not a girly girl, which is amazing for a Pink Ranger. She's quite strong, independent, really pretty stubborn, actually. Shelby is a girl that's used to getting exactly what she wants, which gives her trouble dealing with rejection. However, she had some troublesome moments. At times she was too headstrong, and at other times her selfishness would actually put missions in jeopardy. She also has a crush on / building relationship with Tyler, which is being built nicely. However, at times she seemed more focused on him than on being a superhero, which is regrettable. Shelby is a great character. She just needs a little fine-tuning. Ivan is the Gold Ranger, showing a lot of knightly virtue and honor. He started out a bit snobby, not even being sure that the Rangers were worthy of his addition at first, but he did mellow out later. But besides a quick rivalry with Tyler, he didn't really connect with any of the other Rangers as of yet. And his qualities are all kind of informed character traits of being a knight. Noble, brave, reliable, and proud. Prince Philip to me is actually a slightly better character, if only because he has a slightly clearer arc. He is incredibly snobby and condescending at first, especially towards Coda. But when Coda saves him and he learns who the other Rangers are, he becomes warmer towards them and more accepting of them, and seemingly more noble as a result. The episode where he becomes the Graphite Ranger is one of my favorites because I love it when people actually want to be Rangers. It reflects the desire of many of the fans who wish that they were able to morph. He cut checks, donated to charity, trained, did everything he could think of. And when that didn't work, he did the right thing and tried to give the Energem back to the Rangers before earning its respect with bravery. Kendall is a great character and not hard to look at if you ask me. She also starts off a bit cold and snooty at first, but that's more understandable due to her dual positions as curator of the museum and tactical commander of the Power Rangers. She warms up to the team over time, especially towards Shelby, who she really kind of seemed to hate at first. And yes, of course, that glorious moment hinted at from literally the beginning of the season as Kendall becomes the Purple Ranger. It was an excellent moment, and it was awesome in that teasing storytelling kind of a way for it to happen right at the end. We've got to see the moment happen, but we don't know how Kendall's going to deal with being a Power Ranger. Keeper as a mentor... Well, I mean, he was better than Gosei and G, right? I really liked Keeper right at the start, and then again right at the finish, the times that he actually got involved in the fight. But in between, he kind of became just a fount of platitudes, giving the Rangers general moralistic advice when they were down, or their personal problems were interfering with the Energems. I'm really hoping that he gets a chance to be more active in Supercharge. I mean, I think there's more than a sliver of a chance of that, right? The villains really aren't doing much for me. After a promising start, Sledge became Xandrid all over again, sitting in his ship and whining about failure. Or worse, threatening monsters with destruction if they failed. You know, by losing to the Power Rangers, who defeat monsters by blowing them up. I really hope we get to see him develop more and get really serious about his mission. Poisandra is slightly more complex, with her desire to get married balanced against her desire to get the Rangers for standing in the way of that, indirectly. But she's really not that complex, and she's also a bit whiny. Curio, for the record, is hardly worth mentioning, so there. I mentioned him. Wrench? I feel like he could be a more complex character. He's a bit cowardly and clearly the brains in the villain's boat, but I just get the sense that there's more to him, and I can't put my finger on why. I get kind of an Octoroo vibe from him. He's serving Sledge, but I get the feeling he has an escape plan if he needs one. Fury is basically the star of the villains, being pretty much the lead ground general. He plays to his name, being really gruff and angry. There's a dichotomy to Fury that I find kind of inconsistent. At times it seems like he hates Sledge and would give anything to at least be out from under his control, but at other times he faithfully serves Sledge even when he had control of powerful weapons himself. The whole Ivan inside thing was played kind of well, though I think it could have popped up a little bit sooner. I found myself missing the needed to absorb someone to stay alive thing from Kyoryuger, because otherwise I can't really think of a good reason that Fury needed to absorb Ivan and not just kill him. But otherwise, the control struggle thing was played really well, and I'm looking forward to seeing Fury figure out his loyalties. You might notice that I'm talking about what I hope the main villains of Dino Charge do when they come back, even though Dino Charge ends with their ship crashed and all of them gone. But that's just my point. They're gone. There are no bodies. They survived 65 million years on a broken ship in deep space. They'll be back. But in the meantime, Heckle. We only got a little taste of Heckle, but what a taste. Heckle is my favorite kind of evil. Sneaky, conniving, sweet on the outside, and horrible on the inside. I love that he's met the Rangers, and it seems like he's going to build a relationship with them that has some kind of ulterior motive. And again, as that last scene showed us, it definitely looks like there's another side to him. Perhaps he has a monster form? Or maybe it's more of a split personality thing, like a Jekyll and Hyde relationship? Or I guess that would be Heckle and... So, what are some things that I want to see from Supercharge? Well, it's obvious that we're going to be getting more Rangers, as the Aqua Ranger hasn't been found yet, and that 10th Energem, Silver, is still out there somewhere. As the show is advertising, this is going to give us our largest team of full-time Rangers ever, and I really hope that they take advantage of that and give us some massive battles. Of course, the mystery of Tyler's dad is still out there to be solved. It's becoming pretty clear that he's going to show up during the season, and let's just face it, they're setting him up to be a Ranger. But which one? A lot of people were thinking he was going to be Silver, but due to some recent clues that I'm not going to spoil for you guys, you can find him out there if you want to look for him. Some people now are thinking maybe he'll be Aqua instead. And since Keeper can fight and is obviously brave, why hasn't he bonded to an Energem yet? Could the Silver one be meant for him? And, okay, this thought is kind of out there, but just run with me here. What if there are more than 10 Energems? What if, follow me, what if there's an 11th one out there somewhere? I mean, alright, I don't know. Maybe that thought's just a little naive. Rounding back to Kendall, I kind of hinted at this earlier when I was talking about her, but I kind of want them to focus on her life as a Ranger. I'm picturing this episode where she has to balance all this stuff going on. Curator of the museum, researcher of technology for the Rangers, needed in battle as the Purple Ranger. Can she handle it all? This one is kind of wishful thinking, but the toy line has given us original Zords for Ammonite and Dinosuchus. The show's been really good about filming original Ranger footage, and I recently saw some pictures from the set that show that they're going to be including original Zord footage. Is there a chance, however slight, that original Zord footage could include original Zords like Ammonite and Dinosuchus? I would love to see Dino Charge Megazord Dinosuchus formation on the show. You guys know why. Let's take a look at the stats from the first season of Dino Charge. The average score of Dino Charge episodes was a 4.11, which really measures out with my feelings on it. A great season with lots of good, but a few little things that kept it from being perfect. The highest scored episode was Let Sleeping Zords Lie, which was such a progressive episode for focusing on the bravery and positive qualities of Shelby and Kendall, the two main female characters, that I gave it half a bonus point, scoring it a 5.5. The lowest scored episode was Night After Nights, an episode which many fans perplexingly loved, but I absolutely hated. An episode wholly dedicated to comedy with both of its plot lines, neither of them funny or made any sense, and it took away from all the characters involved. This was the only episode to get lower than a 3, scoring a 2 out of 5. Well, alright, I think that about covers it, and thus that wraps up the 2016 off-season. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I know we lost some topics. I know I didn't get to those story segments that I said I would. Those are coming during Supercharge, by the way. I just really need to learn how to plan things out better. In the comments below, let me know what your guys' hopes are for the Supercharge season. Let me be clear, this is not for a channel shout out. I'm just curious about what you guys think. Now, as of the writing of this episode, early Saturday morning, there was still no word on whether or not we're going to get an early online premiere. So all I can say is that whenever my next video goes up, it's going to be my review of Dino Supercharge Episode 1, When Evil Stirs. Let's see what that's going to be about. The Rangers believe their work is done after they've defeated Sledge and his evil monsters. Unbeknownst to them, an even more powerful monster is picking up where Sledge left off and is closer to the Rangers than they think. Onward we go! Thank you guys so much for watching all of these off-season videos. Like I said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's supercharge into the next season. Until then, may the power protect you. Hey Rangers! Welcome to what is definably, 100% absolutely the last Power Rangers Off-Season 2016 video. Whenever my next video comes out, it's going to be a review of the first episode of Hey Rangers. That breath was weird. Hey Rangers. Welcome Rangers. Oh boy. After a large T-Rex Zord bats the monster away, the two decide to travel to the museum. After the Later on, Fury would find and briefly take control of the Terrazord. Sledge ends up destroying his navigation system, but not Heckle, who we'd seen was actually one of Sledge's bounties. I came at that in a weird way. Ivan is the Gold Ranger and shows a lot of knightly virtue and honor. Prince Philip to me is actually a slightly better character, if only because he has more clear of an arc. Wrench? I feel like he could become more of a complex character. Yeah, sure he could. Because otherwise, I can't really think of a good reason that Fury would have needed to absorb Ivan and not just kill him. What? The control struggle was played? Yep. The whole Ivan inside thing was played kind of well, though I think it could have popped up a little bit sooner. Fart on my nostrils. Dance with me. And again, as that last scene showed us, there's definitely something... And since Keeper can fight and is obviously brave, why hasn't he bonded to an energetic...